My. Mind blowing how many women there are out there on the internet, and not just on the internet, but in the greater community and culture at large, who have never had a successful relationship in their entire lives, but they don't let that stop them. They don't let their lack of success stop them from passing out advice to other single women about the best way to pick a man, to interact with a man, to establish relationships with a man. They've never succeeded at it, but they've had plenty of ideas. It's for some reason they seem to believe that they were just born with some special gift from God of intuition that even though they've never succeeded at relationship, they still know how it ought to be done in the best way to be done. And the unfortunate thing is, it's like I've said many times, for the most part, the biggest enemy for young women are old women. See, and that even extends when it's not old women. Sometimes the biggest enemy for women are other women who give them advice that's completely unqualified. There's no evidence that the woman knows what she's talking about, that there's been any success with her advice or whatever, but she just passes it out. And because of the basic emotional makeup of women, a lot of young women, they take the advice because it'll often be delivered in a lot of poetry. And if it's poetic in some way or flowing, prose or whatever, it makes, for some reason, it creates a positive emotional response. So the recipient of the advice go, oh yeah, that makes sense. And they don't stop to think, wait a minute. Every time I turn around, this gal's single. She's never had a successful relationship in her life. They don't stop and think that. Don't judge. That's what they'll say. Don't judge. I'm not going to judge her. And so this young lady right here, she looks a lot younger than I think she is when I play the video here in a minute. She sounds like she's maybe mid-20s, but she's still fairly young. And you can tell by the depth and wisdom of her advice that she has for other women. You can tell that she's still young. She doesn't have much experience, but
Perfect advice for dating. A guy one time asked me, do you want to go on a coffee date? I don't do coffee. So I told him, I only do coffee for business meetings and friends. So if you want to go get coffee as friends, of course. His next text was, should we do dinner? Men know what they're doing.
Did you notice that little twinkle in her eye when she mentioned that, when she said the fact of, his next text was, do you want to do dinner? And she got that little twinkle in her eye. Men know. That's because she thinks that she succeeded at something. She's accomplished something. She handled him. See, I'm going to replay it again. Look at the twinkle.
What they're doing. They first
you see that little twinkle when she did a little hand flip?
Men know what they're doing. They first just try to lowball you to see if you would just go with it.
Because you see her focus is so much on what she feels and how she handled it and how it affects her. See, she's not thinking, and most women don't, thinking past the fact that she got a free meal or she's going to get a free meal or she negotiated him up. She used the word lowball you. Lowball you for what? Lowball you to be a wife? No, she's already thinking of that relationship as a transaction. So if he's contributing the dinner, what's she contributing?
Know your standards, know your rights, and know your worth. Because they will test you in little ways like that, even from the very beginning. Coffee dates are very simple, very easy. Dinner dates is important. You got to see how someone eats. You got to see how they interact. It's longer. It's more of a get to know you type of phase than a coffee date.
Yeah. So she thinks that she's been successful in that negotiation because she got dinner out of it. Because she thinks that she's the smartest one in that interaction. She doesn't realize that there are several options here. Okay, so either this guy was just looking to get laid, and so he was trying to figure out, what's what's the least amount I can spend on a date to get laid? So he says coffee. And she says, well, coffee is only for business and friends. So if you want to go as friends, as opposed to going as what? I mean, then he says, oh, well, you could phrase it like this. Oh, well, she's going to charge more than just a latte. And so he says, what about dinner? And then she twinkles because she thinks she handled him. That's either the situation where the guy was not looking for a wife. He was not looking for a woman to be the mother of his children. He was just looking to be like Freddie Fender, wasted days and wasted nights. If you just want to waste days and waste nights, I mean, that's what he was looking to do, and that must be what she's looking to do. So she negotiated it out and got her a T-bone, and he got him another kind of bone. So I guess that's successful, and she thinks she's done something. See, but what she's not realizing either, on top of that, is because she's a dumb kid, is that every day that passes, that beauty she's got with that smooth skin and all that youthfulness, and more than the youthfulness, the fertility is going lower, 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 lower. And as far as her value to a good, decent husband material man is also going lower, 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 lower. So she's negotiating out her time and her company. Is it worth, know your worth? Is it worth coffee or is it worth a T-bone? Well, it takes a T-bone to get her time and company or whatever it is she gets for dinner. She's not looking at her know your worth as being a wife and a mother and having a decent husband who will take care of her for her life. She doesn't understand that her worth is her youth, her fertility, and her friendliness. She doesn't think that. She just thinks it's, I guess, her presence or her company. And so in a few years, she's going to be against the wall there about 28, 29. And then geriatric pregnancies are at 35. So by that time, she's going to probably be one of these bitter gals talking about where are all the good men at. Men are trash. Men ain't as good as they used to be. No, there was a lot of good men this young lady's going to come across. So, I mean, she's a relatively attractive gal. She needs to do something with those black fingernails she got. But she's a relatively attractive gal. But she's not going to realize, and if she does realize it, she damn sure ain't going to admit it, that there were many, 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 many good men that came across her path that were attracted to her, who offered to take her to coffee, but she thought she was somebody. She thought there was something super duper special about her and her, but JJ, know your worth, like she has a magic vagina or something. Know your worth, know your rights, and know your value. Don't let these men lowball you. Lowball you for what? You see, because that coffee date could lead to a husband with a 6-figure job who'll buy you a house and give you children, join to you for the rest of your life. But all she's thinking about is dinner. It's really, really, really unfortunate, but there's a lot of women doing that. So, and this lady right here, she's advising other women to go down the same path, right on out into no man's land.
I do not think men realize how big they're telling on themselves when they comment on how they hate nose rings or septum rings, because I really don't think it has anything to do with how it makes me look. The nose ring, the septum ring, they're such small features of my face, but it's more about what they stand for. So even though they don't change my face, they change what my face communicates, which really disrupts their illusion of control over me. I think that nose rings and septum rings really communicate that you in fact can't control me, and there's some aspect of rebellion to them, and some men absolutely can't stand that. And so all that I hear when they tell me they don't like my nose ring is that they could not handle me anyway.
Yeah. They see my nose ring and they know that they could not handle me anyway. the biggest screaming situation here is, why do women, maybe somebody can help me understand this, why do so many women think that it's a flex, it's some kind of power play to be the kind of woman that a man has to somehow or another handle? Well, he couldn't handle me anyway. Well, it's probably because you're literally just a rebellious, mouthy, incorrigible woman, insufferable woman. I mean, he couldn't manage me anyway. But I am not a fan of piercings and tattoos and that sort of stuff either. That's just my thing. I'm not putting down women that might have tattoos and unorthodox, unconventional piercings like nose piercings and other kind of piercings and stuff. That's their business. Unfortunately, though, women, when you tell them that their tattoos and stuff are unattractive to you, they'll get highly offended. Many of them will. Yes, not all, not all, not all. I understand that. But on average, they'll get very highly offended. But you can't judge me. This is my body. I like this. I did this for myself. I didn't do this for you, and all this kind of stuff. It's really, really common for men to get scorned and ridiculed by women for what is really their own personal preferences, see. So they'll do that. I'm not real big on tattoos or piercings and that sort of stuff and everything. But if someone wants to do that, that's their business. But this lady probably is correct to an extent when she says that men look at it and know that they're unconventional and they're not going to be able to lead her. She says, control me, lead her. They're not going to be able to lead her like that. And so they just move on to the next person. And this one right here looks like she's in her late 20s already. So she's against the wall right now and possibly even looks younger than she is. And if that's the case, then she's already in no man's land, sitting in her car by herself with her cell phone, making videos to say things to help her cope for the fact that she's never had a successful relationship in her life. But instead of saying, you know what, maybe I should not have conducted myself in such a way that let men in my life know that I was not going to be a very good wife, maybe I should have made different choices. She's going to cope it in a way to where it's the men. The men are just too weak. They knew that these nose rings and septum rings and stuff, they knew when they looked at it, they realized that they weren't going to be able to control me. Correct. That's why they didn't marry you. Simple as that. However, men are typically very, very interested in tattoos and septum piercings and stuff, just like the previous young lady, when they're looking for a woman for recreational use only. They're not looking for a champion they're going to give that trophy to that's going to go around the finger on their left hand. They're not looking for that. They're just looking for a one-night stand or a one-week stand or maybe even a couple of years stand. And then they're going to do kind of like an automobile, and they're going to trade it in. Get them one with less miles and better options, see. And that's the way it's going to work. So this young lady doesn't realize that most men, when a gal shows up in their life who is doing things and living in such a way that's counterculture, what she called rebellious, let's say she smokes, drinks a good bit, got tattoos, got piercings, driving a sports car, low-cut blouses, high-cut hemlines, those sorts of things, she'll get a lot of attention. But it's because that man looks and knows, hey, if she'll go against societal conventions in these ways, I bet she'll go against societal conventions in many, 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 many other ways. And I got a list. That's what they're thinking. So these women, they're telling men on first sight, I'm usable. I'm here for a minute. I ain't here for a long time, but I'm here for a good time. And so the men, they're here for a good time. And so they have their good time. And then when they get this young lady's age, as old as I'm guesstimating she is, again, they have a U-Haul truck full of baggage and bitterness. And they're talking about men are trash. Men ain't no good. Men only want one thing. Notice men want a wife and they want children. because men want to build a legacy. They want to build a family. They want to leave something behind when they die that gives them some semblance of immortality, and that's children and a legacy. So they're looking for a wife. But with this hair the color it is, and that eyebrow ring, and then that little nose ring right there, looks like she got a booger hanging out of her nose, and the septic ring on top of that, and all that kind of stuff. This is all looked at by most men looking for wives as if this is not wife material. Should be real good for a girlfriend, but we might even spend a few years together. But it's not a wife. She might even accidentally end up getting pregnant, but it still ain't a wife. It's not a woman that I would choose to make up half of my child's genetics and all of my child's mothering. It ain't her. I'm looking for a woman that's wanting to build a team together. Well, not really a team, but I'm looking for a woman that's wanting to build a family. A woman that's willing to submit to me and follow me as I follow the Lord. See? But this young lady, like the other ones, she's probably already looking back. There ain't no good men out there, when the fact is there were many, 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 many good men that she came across. And they dealt with her, and she, in her own words, she was rebellious, incorrigible, unwilling to submit and follow. So they said, okay, I'm moving on. And they went and found them a woman who was looking for a husband. See? And this young lady here, she's still young enough that she would probably say, well, I'm not looking for a husband. What do I need a husband for? I can take care of myself. Yep. And in the morning, Deja and I are getting out of bed about 3 o'clock, and we're going to load up, and we're going to go to the hospital, and she's going to check in, and she's going to go in there, and she's going to have a little procedure it's laparoscopic, I think they call it, going in with a little scope, and it's going to be a pretty serious procedure. And she's looking at probably being down for the count for about a week before she can get up and start moving around. And then her full recovery is likely going to take 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks before she's released back to normal life. And she's 53 years old. Now imagine if she was this gal here and she was single. Who's going to be getting up cooking her meals for her and running the errands and taking care of her and making sure she don't go back there and lay down for a nap and not wake up because of some drug interaction or something of that sort? Because this gal here is going to be all by herself, So, yeah, this gal don't need a husband right now. She don't need children right now to take care of her and look out for her because she hadn't reached that stage in her life. She's still in that stage in her life where she thinks she knows everything because for some reason, many, 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 many women, one of the reasons is the culture teaches them this, but many, many, many women think that they're just born with some intuitive wisdom and knowledge about life. They can't nobody tell them nothing. That's who they are. And I'm dang.